So that happened. The election was last night, obviously, and my party did not do as well as I had hoped. I'll be honest, I didn't have a lot of didn't have high hopes of success for the PPC, being a new party, about a year old. But I at least expected Maxime Bernier to win in his home riding. I mean, the man's been in that riding for a good long time and always wins that seat with significant margins over his opponents. And last night he lost to some Muppet-looking, bald-headed freak on the Conservative Party by a large amount too, which seems, I don't know, seems kind of weird. But hey, you know what? It could be because Max left the Conservative Party that there were a lot of voters that were like, screw this guy. I don't know. My hope was that he would at least win in his home riding, but again, new party. He did defect from the Conservatives. There's going to be a lot of people who are pissed about that. There was also a competing Maxime Bernier in his riding. Another person named Maxime Bernier for the Parti Rhinoceros Party. Just basically a spoiler candidate, just in it for the lulz. He took a couple hundred votes, I think, but by the end of the night, the margin between the Conservatives and the PPC in Beauce was way too great to have that make any difference. In any event, yeah, it was a little disappointing. I was predicting that the Liberals were either going to win a minority or the Conservatives were going to win a minority. And I guess it seemed pretty close for a little while, but the CBC called it really early because of course they did. And I'll be honest, I have not looked at the final results as of this morning. I was on a live stream last night with Irving Twin. Check out his channel. And if you have 7.5 hours, hey, you know, give it a watch, or, you know, have it on in the background while you're, you know, waxing your floors or painting your walls or something. But it was a long live stream. I was on it for about 4.5 hours, but he continued on for several more hours. In any event, the other surprising and disappointing result was in Etobicoke North, the riding where Renata Ford announced her candidacy for the PPC. And the thing that was surprising and disappointing was, one, the Fords are quite popular in that riding. Two, at one point, she had like 5,000 votes, 4,496 or something like that. And Irving and his girlfriend Tina were watching the results in that particular riding because it's their riding. And then, all of a sudden, she had 400 votes. So she lost 4,000 votes. 4,000 votes just up and vanished. And then for a Liberal to win in that riding, that seems kind of, I don't know. Seems like shenanigans. That was the word of the night last night while we were watching the election results roll in. Whenever we saw something that looked a little fishy, we were like, shenanigans! Anyway, I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are on the whole thing. I'm going to be sort of hanging my head low going into work because I'm one of these people who wears their politics on their sleeve. I get into discussions with our VP about politics all the time, and we don't see eye to eye. We don't share the same political worldview, but we have, you know, decent discussions, very very civil discussions. Of course, it's a workplace, so you're not going to be calling each other Nazis and communists. But yeah, he predicted that the Liberals were going to win, and I was of the mind that the Liberals were probably going to win, but I was hoping they wouldn't. And he knows that I was supporting the PPC, and yeah, so I'm sure he's gonna have a smirk on his face when we talk about it today. But I'm gonna keep the conversation to a minimum. You know, I'm gonna be like a Leafs fan after they inevitably lose in the semis, and that, you know, that brings me to my point. I've had a lot of people say, why would you waste your vote? Why would you put your vote into somebody who can't win? Why wouldn't you vote for the party that could win? And I'm like, I support who I support because they align with my values. And, well, you're wasting your vote, you know? You're wasting your time. I'd say the same thing to Leafs fans. Why do you continue to support a team that lets you down year after year after year? It's some kind of masochism? I guess there's a level of masochism to political devotion, too. I really had a hope for the PPC. I don't consider myself a masochist, but here's the thing. I look at it this way. I've got one vote. My one vote is not going to change any election. It's not going to change any riding. My riding's too big. And I may as well put it for the candidate that best aligns with my values. And that's how people are supposed to vote. The idea of strategic voting, you know, Irving made a point of this. It's like, it's what perpetuates the shitty system we have now. When every time an election time comes around, people are just saying, well, I don't want the other guy to win. And as much as I like this other candidate C, I've got to vote for candidate B because A might get in. That's no way to support principles or vote with your principles. You know, voting for the lesser of two evils when, you know, there's a legitimate good candidate for you to support. But hey, it's the way it is in Canada. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. As I was saying last night, for whatever reason, Canadians are just completely apathetic when it comes to the political process. Most of the people I talk to don't even know who they're going to vote for, even up until election day. Like, I don't know who I'm going to vote for. And yet they go out and vote. Well, if you don't know who you're going to vote for, if you're just going out and voting for the sake of going out to vote because you think it's your civic duty, you're actually doing a disservice to democracy if you're just putting your name in a box without critically thinking about the candidates you're supporting. Whatever. Anyway, happy post-election day, everybody. You liberals, you know, you can sit there today with a big grin on your face and think about all the other ways you're gonna try and fuck us over. Conservatives, I wish you'd run a better campaign. I've been saying this all along. I don't think that I think this was Scheer's to lose, basically. I think if he had done it correctly, if he had gone after Trudeau the right way, he would have won. And I just don't think he's that appealing a candidate. But, and I would have been happy with a Scheer minority government. Was that as it is right now? It's a Liberal minority government, and it's going to make a hell of a lot harder for them to get things done. I don't think that the NDP, Green, and Liberals are going to vote as a bloc. And I think even if they do, last I checked, I don't think they have a majority of seats amongst them. Like, they don't have over 170 seats amongst them. So I could be wrong. Again, I have not looked at the final results this morning. But what I saw last night was disheartening. But whatever. It is what it is. On my way to work now to hear the snickering and see the sneers of people who knew I supported the PPC, and to have them not even show. But hey, we shall see. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Please subscribe to my good friend Irving Twins channel, and if you're the first time coming to this channel, consider liking and subscribing and commenting. And I don't erase comments, I don't hide comments, so even if you want to be a total shit and say nasty things to me, go ahead. But yeah, I'd love your support. I'd love to know that people are listening, and thanks again.